Alright, so you join me down my local estate lake. It's a beautiful July day and I thought I'd just go into a bit of detail and have a little review of the Waterhog's bio stove. It's a good little bit of kit this. I've had it for about a year. It's their wood burning stove for those of you that don't know about it. It's basically a cylinder drum with air holes that allow the fan at the bottom to blow air through and to really get a roaring fire, so you can just use bits of stick that's just laying around on the ground, say you're carrying gas canisters. But yeah, I thought I'd just go into a bit of detail about it, my thoughts on it, is it worth getting, that kind of thing. As I say, I've been using it for about a year, 6 months to a year, something like that. I haven't been using it all the time, and that's the first thing to say about this really. Although it is a good bit of kit, it works really well as I'll show in a little while, but you couldn't really use it as your only stove. I've got it mainly just as a little backup in case I run out of gas, or if I'm a bit bored on the bank or it's a cold night and I want a bit of a roaring fire. It's quite nice to get this thing stoked up, get a bit of a roaring fire going. Something to look into on a cold night is quite nice. And as I say, it is a good backup if you run out of gas. There's always sticks and stuff laying around. As I say, you can see around me today at the estate lake, I'm completely surrounded by trees. It's the middle of July, everything's bone dry. So it took me a couple of minutes to get a big pile of sticks sorted for this. So yeah, the only thing, I suppose, I have used it in winter. I used it down here quite a lot this winter just gone, and it did work. It's a lot harder to get going if the sticks are a bit damp, but if you start with really small sticks and a fire lighter and just slowly build it up, you can get it going even with damp sticks. And once it's roaring and the fan's going, you can put pretty much soaking sticks in and it will get going. But when they are wet, you do get a hell of a lot more smoke, because normally it burns quite cleanly. That's a brilliant thing about this. It ends up with like no ash at all really at the bottom. It's a really clean burning, efficient stove. But when they're wet, you do get a bit more smoke, but it's not really designed for that. But I suppose that is a bit of a down point. You'd really want a nice roaring stove in the winter, and it struggles in the winter. So again, it's all a bit of a personal preference whether you'd actually want one or not. So I've got it as a bit of a gimmick and just a bit of a fun thing to have on the bank really. Build quality is absolutely brilliant. It's indestructible. It's not got a dent in it. I've just lugged it around, kept it in the bottom of my barrow. I can't say I've really looked after it, but it's barely marked at all. Inside's still fairly clean, seems I haven't cleaned it out. The fan's still working fine. The only thing that does irritate me a little bit with these is I don't know why they put such a short cable on them. They have coated it in protective material, but you do occasionally get the odd spit out of here, and I did once put a tiny little melt in the back of my power pack, which is pretty worrying really. If you've got fire dripping and spitting near an electric power pack, that's asking for trouble if you ask me. So I would recommend getting an extension lead, which I haven't done myself. I keep meaning to, and I keep forgetting to buy one. But other than that, they're a solid bit of kit really. They are quite pricey. It would be nice to see them include just a little power stick or something with them, because it's quite a lot of money for what is effectively a cheap PC fan and a cylinder. But as I say, it does work really well. So you get this little adapter which has got a speed controller on it. You just push that into your power pack, and then that's ready to connect up. Now the way I like to light them is I just don't mess around, just bring a big set of fire lighters with you, just keep them in the bottom of you can keep them in the cylinder, and just break them up into a couple of bits to start with, just chuck them in, and then start off with a load of small sticks. You can get some little tiny ones in there. Don't go too mad to start with, because that will get going if there's plenty of air in there. And then I'll get a bit of fire lighter. I've got a lighter in my pocket somewhere. And then you've got to watch your fingers, but get this ready to go. Plug that in. You'll hear the fan start up. I have it set quite low to start with till it gets going. Help if my lighter actually worked. Right, and just poke that firelighter down to the others. Get a few sticks on top of that, little ones. Takes a little bit to get it going to start with. Might be a bit high actually on that fan. It is a bit smoky when it first starts. That does go away quite a lot once you're going. You have got a set of tweezers that it provides, but I tend to start with just poke it in as long as you're careful. As you can see now, they're already starting to catch. Just turn it up just a little bit. You can see we've already got a real roaring flame there. And we've hardly, been going a minute or two. Then you can just slowly start adding bigger bits. Just chucking them in. Look at that. Absolutely roaring. Look at that. Cut it down a bit. You can just control it with the adjuster. There we go. How about that? Absolutely rocketing within a few minutes of being going. Oh, there we go. And then once you're going, you can just slowly add bigger bits. Get your stove on there. Look. As you can see, there's hardly any smoke coming off that. My power pack's being a bit funny, sorry, it's a bit low. There we go. Just add a few bigger bits in there. And away you go. Got a lovely, beautiful roaring fire within a couple of minutes. It's not really that hard. And that'll boil that really quickly. There's so much heat kicking around there. That is the other thing with these, as I was saying, they're not really going to replace your normal stove because they're quite hard to really control your heat. So if you're cooking on them and trying to knock up some food, it's going to be quite hard to get your temperature set just perfect so you're not burning things or it's not too cool. But for boiling a kettle, I mean, it does it so quickly. I mean, you know, I've hardly put any wood in here at all. Just chuck in a few little dry bits. You can hear that already. Like, it's already starting to go. I've only got enough for a cup or so in there. It's not a full kettle, you know, but you can see how quickly it gets the temperature. So really, really good bit of kit. So the only thing that annoys me is this short cable, and the adjuster can be a bit sensitive. It'd be nicer if it was a bit smoother and slower adjustment, but I mean, I haven't even got that cranked up full. I mean, if you really turn it up, you can see that's really, really roaring now. Turn that back down again, it's a bit much. It's all nice and safe, it's all encased in this. I say don't go touching it, but the outside, because it's not actually attached to the inside, I mean, that's still cool. You mean you can pick that up and move it if you had to. We're already boiling. And then you can either just leave it to burn out all in there, or you can just cut the fan down like that and that'll just slowly burn now. But I like to burn it all away, and then you don't have little bits of wood or heat to deal with. So there we have it. Great bit of kit. So I really like it just on a cold evening. If you've got this going, obviously don't have it inside your bivvy because you're going to gas yourself, but if you've got a brolly or something, it's a nice cool evening or a summer's evening, it's nice just to have a roaring flame to look into, something to play with. Boils a kettle really quickly. It's great to have if you're running out of gas, or just to have as a backup stove. So yeah, really, really good bit of kit. I really like it. Whether you want to get one yourself, down to personal preference really. It is expensive for just a bit of what is effectively a bit of fun and a bit of a luxury item. and carrying 2 stays if you're moving around a lot and mobile, probably not the best idea. But when you're bivvied up somewhere or you're there for a few days with some mates, it's a lovely thing to have out just as you're having a bit of a social. So yeah, good bit of kit. Check them out if you're something you think you might like. Check out, it's on the Waterhog website. I got it straight direct from them. Can't remember exactly how much it was. I think they're about 70 odd quid. They might have come down or gone up recently, I'm not too sure. But yeah, go check them out and hope you enjoy this video.